Welcome, everybody, to the Daily Packers Post, where we bring you in-depth daily coverage of your Green Bay Packers every Monday through Friday. I'm Gil Martin, the founder and host of the Daily Packers Post. Don't forget to hit like and to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Today, we're going to talk about the impact that the signing of free agent offensive guard Aaron Banks will have on the Packers offensive line. And this was a big 4-year, $77 million deal. And I think it does help the Packers fill a definite need, even if it wasn't maybe the most obvious needs. And I think it is a move that, despite the high price tag, could very well pay off. Now, let's first look at Banks and his career. So far, he was a second-round pick, 48th overall by the 49ers in the 2021 NFL Draft. And coming out of Notre Dame, started by the time he was in his second season, and he's a big guy, 6'5", 325 pounds, maybe even a little bit more than what his listed weight is. And his strength is he is going to be able to move people. He is better as a run blocker, according to Pro Football Focus, than he is as a pass blocker. And his style, that physical interior style, fits in very well with the way the Packers run the football when Josh Jacobs is in the game. And, the good thing is that Matt LaFleur's offense is, from the same coaching tree as the 49ers offense. So it's not necessarily going to be a major adjustment for Banks to get ready to play for the Packers. And look, being with the 49ers, he has played in many playoff games and even a Super Bowl. So he certainly has big game experience. Now, what is the need that this filled? Obviously, we know that Josh Myers, the Packers starting center for most of the last 4 seasons, he's an unrestricted free agent. He is not likely to be back in Green Bay. And that means that there's going to be some changes along the line. If you go back to the playoff loss against the Eagles in January, the need for depth along the interior offensive line was very apparent. Early in the game, left guard Elton Jenkins has a stinger. He leaves, does not return. So what do? The Packers plug in Travis Glover, the rookie. He struggled, committed multiple penalties, was overwhelmed really by a very good Eagles front seven. He was in for only 15 plays, and then they had seen enough. In comes Kadeem Telford, a veteran, more of a tackle than a guard. And Telford also struggled, let there be no doubt, although he was a little bit better maybe than Glover at this stage in his career. And as a result, even though the Green Bay defense did a very good job of keeping the Eagles from scoring a lot of points, the offense, with the injuries to the offensive line, Jenkins, and then later Josh Myers later in the game left. But the Eagles have a dominant front seven, and, well, the Packers offense just could not get going. And look, games in the NFL are won and lost in the trenches. You've heard that, that's been true since the days of the single wing back in the 1920s. And we have a need for depth along the interior offensive line, and that need gets even bigger when Myers leaves. So one thing we know about Brian Gutekunst, he values versatility among his offensive linemen. And what does that mean? He likes guys who can play multiple positions. Well, here's where that pays off. The Packers do not necessarily need to draft a center to replace Josh Myers or to sign a free agent at center to replace Josh Myers, because they already have 4 candidates on the roster who can play center. And that is Elton Jenkins, second-year man Jacob Monk, Sean Ryan, and Zach Tom. And look, three of those guys are starters. If Monk is ready and good enough to start in his second year, that's, the easiest solution because you don't want to mix up your offensive linemen. You want to have as much stability and continuity as possible because chemistry among offensive linemen is very important. Well, the most logical thing with Aaron Banks being a a left guard, is to move Elton Jenkins, who has been the starting left guard, to center. Jenkins is going to be 29 by the end of the upcoming 2025 season. He is the oldest starter among the Packers offensive linemen, and moving him may be better for him. And the Packers, as you've heard Matt LaFleur say, they want the best five out there on the field at all times. Under those circumstances, again, you want to keep Jenkins on the field. You obviously want Banks on the field. You're not paying the guy $77 million over 4 years to sit. And so that would be a logical move. And then, you also have the wild card of Jordan Morgan, last year's #1 draft pick. Now, he doesn't play center, but he still could compete with Sean Ryan at right guard, or he could compete with Rasheed Walker again at left tackle. And that would increase the depth along the Packers offensive line without even having to add anybody else in free agency or the draft. Now, that being said, Brian Gutekunst almost always drafts at least one offensive lineman, but it becomes a lower priority. It makes it more likely that we're looking at a day 3 draft pick rather than the first round or second or third round. And also, keep in mind that the Packers have a lot of guys right now. Rasheed Walker, Zach Tom, Sean Ryan, all three of them are in the last year of their contract with the Packers. I don't think they'll be able to sign all three. So already you're putting the pieces in place to replace guys for the 2026 season if you're not able to sign them. So, Aaron Banks, he was ranked in the middle of the qualified guards by Pro Football Focus, graded out again, better as a run blocker than as a pass blocker, but I think it's a solid addition for the Green Bay Packers, and it definitely will impact the offensive line in 2025 and probably beyond. Don't forget to check out our website at thepackerspost.com for articles about your Packers Monday through Saturday. Always great to talk to fans, so please feel free to comment, and we will answer all comments that are made. Have a great day, everybody. Stay safe, and of course, go Pack Go.